United States and Ethiopia have forged a strong partnership that has stayed for more than a century. Their multifaceted relationship spans over areas of culture, development, regional security, and others. Both countries have enjoyed mutual benefits from their enduring cooperation. Will their sound relationship continues under President Donald Trump's administration? Well, my guest for today is United States Ambassador to Ethiopia, Ervin Massinga, to stay with us. Mr. Ambassador, very warm welcome to Ethiopian News Agency.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to come and have a few words with you.
Yeah. With the current president of the United States of America, President Donald Trump, we have been witnessing lots of new laws, decrease and approach in the United States foreign policy. Will there be significant change in United States foreign policy towards Ethiopia? What kind of United States relationship should we expect from President Donald Trump's administration?
Thank you for that question. There's obviously lots of discussion, lots of attention to the Trump administration and how it is changing its focus worldwide and to Africa and with Ethiopia. But I think the easiest way to respond to your question and to explain to your viewers exactly what's happening is to use the words of our Secretary of State. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has told us, all of the diplomats around the world and my team here in Ethiopia, that safety, security, and prosperity have to be the bedrock of U.S. foreign policy around the world, and that's true here in Ethiopia. So what does that mean? That means that in many respects there is continuity in U.S. foreign policy over many years, promotion of democracy, promotion of human rights, promotion of prosperity and economic development, but the focus that the Trump administration has on those three key words, safety, security, prosperity of the American people, that's what sharpens our approach, and that's what sharpens my approach here in Ethiopia. If I could expand a little bit on that, my recent engagements in Jimma, I went to Jimma just last week, I went to Syria and Tigray a few weeks ago. Those help to exemplify and illustrate exactly what I mean, particularly in the safety and security realm. In Tigray, I had an opportunity to talk to IDPs, the internally displaced people, political leaders, governmental leaders, international CSO leaders, etc. Got a chance to see exactly what we're doing in terms of helping the people move forward, supporting the cessation of hostilities agreements, supporting the Pretoria Agreement, come from where it is right now and going forward. That talks about security for the American people, because the more that Ethiopia and the region is secure and stable, that helps the United States and that helps the global economy and the global context. When I went to Jimma, I was really excited to see the university, see coffee growing, see the fight against malaria and the continued fight against HIV. So again, not only is that about the security of the American people and the safety of the American people, but we need strong partners such as Ethiopia in those contexts. I'm really excited to talk about the prosperity part, if you give me the opportunity. The Trump administration is extremely focused on enhancing prosperity for the American people. But as Secretary Rubio has said, America first does not mean America alone. And we need strong economic partners and strong partners across the board, such as Ethiopia. And in the prosperity sphere, I'm extremely excited about moving ahead with fair and equitable trade that is useful and beneficial for the people of the United States and our businesses, and businesses here in Ethiopia and the people in Ethiopia. So the opportunities to expand on coffee exports to the United States, teff exports to the United States, flour exports around the world, and even to the United States, tea, mining, finance, et cetera, et cetera. This is really important, and I look forward to working with the Ethiopian government and Ethiopian businesses and their counterparts in the United States to expand those opportunities. That's building on a already strong foundation in business and commerce. Ethiopian Air is a great example of what we're talking about. In recent years, Ethiopian Air has made significant investments in US-made equipment, and we look forward to building upon that going forward. That partnership has many years of history, and we expect many more years of history between US industrial suppliers and service suppliers and Ethiopian Air. But it's not just Ethiopian Air. We know that Ethiopia is moving ahead with a new airport in Bishoftu, and I have a team here working intensively to see what we can do to bring U.S. Suppliers and equipment providers to engage in that construction. So we're very active in pursuing those opportunities. And then in finance, we know that Ethiopia is expanding the financial sector, and U.S. players can and should play a role. And so we were working with your government to ensure that the enabling environment is there. Investment is super important. Not just U.S. investment in Ethiopia, but the U.S. as an investment destination. And so there was a recent Investment USA conference in which Ethiopia sent one of the largest delegations to the United States, the same size as our friends in Saudi Arabia. This shows that the two-way trade, two-way investment between the United States and Ethiopia is strong and can get stronger over time.
Thank you for that splendid explanation, Mr. Ambassador. Hundreds of thousands of Ethiopians also reside in the United States. How do you explain their contribution towards the development and prosperity of the United States, and how the current President Donald Trump's administration impacts the lives of hundreds of thousands of Ethiopians living there?
You're correct that there are hundreds of thousands, perhaps even more, of Ethiopian origin people living in the United States, all over the United States, in every single state of the United States. Certainly there are concentrations, but those people tend to be very, very successful in business, in medicine, in law, engineering, entrepreneurship, and so they are contributing intensely and mightily to the vibrancy of the U.S. economy and U.S. society, and we're proud to have them. The Trump administration and the administration that works for him works intensively with them to expand perhaps remittances, investment, private investment from Ethiopian origin businesses or individuals into Ethiopia, both in terms of business or perhaps small non-governmental organizations or religious organizations. That relationship is growing, and we will work with the diaspora community and its counterparts here in Ethiopia to expand those opportunities so that individuals who want to contribute in whatever way can do so, and do so in accordance with Ethiopian law, U.S. law, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Mr. Ambassador, let's talk about peace effort in Tigray region of Ethiopia. Apparently, United States has played a pivotal role, crucial role in the Pretoria Peace Agreement, and the government of United States of America has also been supporting the implementation of the Pretoria Peace Agreement, an important peace accord. Nevertheless, the implementation of the agreement has not met expectations. Recently in an interview with Ethiopian news agency here in our studio, the former interim president of Tigray region, Getachew Reda, said the main challenge, the main obstacle in the implementation of Pretoria Peace Agreement with the former TPLF leadership. Getachew Reda also said that there are some members of the former TPLF who didn't want to see the implementation of the Pretoria Peace Agreement. And as U.S. ambassador to Ethiopia, and as an ambassador who pay frequent visit to Tigray region, what have you learned so far, and what measures should be taken to ensure lasting peace in Tigray?
Well, thank you for that very, very important question. Yes, the United States has been a strong supporter of peace in Tigray to help bring to a close the terrible war that took place just recently through the implementation of the Cessation of Hostilities Agreement, the Pretoria Agreement. So let's start with applauding the Pretoria Agreement, which brought silence to the guns in that terrible war, has restarted services to Tigray, and started the process of reintegrating Tigray into Ethiopia as it should be. In my recent trip to Shire, I got a chance to talk to many of the internally displaced people, and I put the people first because at the end of the day, finding ways to ensure that the people can live a dignified life is exactly what the United States is trying to encourage, and I know that all of the actors all of the political players are trying to achieve. I had a chance to talk to political leaders, governmental leaders, etc. And the first thing that came to mind during my time in Shere is that, again, it's time to put the people first. Too many people have been living in a displaced context for too long, in miserable conditions. The United States is proud to support them through humanitarian assistance, and we are proud to be the largest humanitarian donor here in Ethiopia, helping those people and those in need all around the country. But we have to be honest. This is not a sustainable situation. It's not sustainable for my government and my people. It's not sustainable for Ethiopia, and it's certainly not sustainable for the people who are living in those conditions. And so finding ways to urgently reinvigorate the cessation of hostilities agreement and the element of allowing people to go home, along with disarmament and reintegration and the other elements of COHA, is incredibly important. Putting people first, politics second, letting people go home, letting people take care of themselves, letting them feed themselves is important for Ethiopia, important for the people, and it's important for the U.S.-Ethiopian relationship, because going forward, my government is not in a position to support this indefinitely. That those programs are not designed to be in place in perpetuity. The good news is I know that there are people of goodwill who want to see things moving forward, despite the disagreements of today, and we look forward to working with them in that context.
Yeah, Mr. Ambassador, I can agree with you to the point that there is a long way to go for the full implementation of Pretoria Peace Agreement, which can ensure lasting peace in Tigray region and in the entire country. But the thing is, it has been the former TPLF which has been obstructing the implementation of the Pretoria Peace Accord. And this is the view of not an ordinary person. This is the view of the former president administrator, interim administrator of Tigray region, Getachew Reda. So there must be something that we can do. What could be done, do you think?
Well, thank you for the opportunity to continue that conversation. I know the former president of the Interim Regional Administration very well. I understand his contributions to ensuring the COHA is moving forward. I recognize the ways in which implementation of COHA has been blocked over the past several years since the cessation of hostilities. When I was in Shere, I continued conversations that I've had prior to that with important members of the TPLF itself, and other important leaders in Tigray, as well as with the government, the federal government. I was and will continue to be very clear in our expectations and our encouragement in terms of moving ahead in a positive way. We will have conversations that are public, and we will talk about that. And of course, we'll have private conversations to encourage things in that context as well. I think all of the players, all of the actors that you mentioned understand the position of the United States very, very clearly, that moving ahead and moving from this status quo has to be the watchword, that Tigray and Ethiopia have to move forward, not backwards, not stay in the current context.
Over the past few years, Ethiopia has been undergoing through various series of macroeconomic reforms, reforms to ensure macroeconomic stability in the country and to transform the country to a private-led investment model. How United States is working with Ethiopia for the success of these reforms?
Well, the United States has been working with Ethiopia to develop and design and implement those reforms, is working with Ethiopia currently to continue that effort, and will be working with Ethiopia in the future in that context. In terms of the World Bank and IMF package that was agreed to last year, the United States was a big supporter of this, knowing full well that all of the, or many of the reforms that needed to happen were embodied in that package. We know that it wasn't an easy decision. It's not easy to move away from a model that Ethiopians had come to understand for many years. Even if people understood that things needed to change, change is difficult. This government took the bold step of moving ahead not staying in status quo. And so we commend the government for that effort. There's been a lot of attention paid to the exchange rate reform, which was very important. Let's just be honest and be very clear. Without that change, the opportunities to affect other important, meaningful changes would not have been able to be realized. And the Ethiopian government made that decision. And we applaud them. We applaud them very much. And we see that stability has been brought to the foreign exchange market, something that had not been seen for many, many years. Ethiopia was able to move into a more modern global economic context that's market-oriented, unlike the mindset and the model of previous years and previous decades. But it's not just the exchange rate question. That's the headline issue. That's what gets so much attention. But there are so many other elements that were built into that. Financial sector reform. We're very happy to see Ethiopia moving forward in the financial sector modernization context. Much has been done. Much more needs to be done, but we're pleased at the progress so far. More needs to be done in terms of resource mobilization, meaning reforming the tax system. More needs to be done in reforming the ways in which Ethiopia manages imports and exports, the customs function. These are difficult issues. Ethiopia has come a long way from the Derg times, and more needs to be done, but we should recognize and applaud what has been done so far. And I am very, very confident that with the decisions made so far, that Ethiopia will continue to make strides towards becoming a market economy that is commensurate with its stature and its size in the global context.
Yeah, let me take you to regional issue, Mr. Ambassador. Ensuring peace and stability in the Horn of Africa has been one of the strategic area of cooperation between the United States and Ethiopia.
Yes.
And Ethiopia has been playing an anchor role, crucial role in the stability of the Horn of Africa.
Yes.
Of course, the most stable country in the unstable region of the Horn of Africa. How the United States is collaborating with Ethiopia in this regard?
Well, thank you for that very important question. So you're 100% correct. The region is going through a difficult time. Without a doubt, there are certain countries that are neighboring Ethiopia that are having particular struggles. Sudan comes to mind. Somalia is a country that is undergoing difficulty. South Sudan, et cetera, et cetera. Working with a country of Ethiopia's size, but more important than its size, its influence and its capacity to help the region restabilize. That is a core bedrock approach of the United States and will be a center point of what the United States is going to be doing in the Horn of Africa to help the region and the people achieve the opportunities of prosperity and stability that they all want. Happy to talk about Somalia in particular, working with Ethiopia to help the people of Somalia face up against Al-Shabaab, a terrible terrorist organization which has attacked and hurt so many people in the region. That is a core element of how we intend to work with the entire region and, of course, the government of Somalia to bring stability to that important country. The United States is a key partner, as we've seen, through training, assisting key countries in the region, Somalia, et cetera, et cetera. We're active on the battlefield when necessary, but the long-term solution is in the hands of the people in the region, and some of the most important hands and most important country is Ethiopia. And so we look forward to working with Ethiopia diplomatically and in other ways to ensure U.S. security as well as the security of the people of the Horn of Africa.
Yeah, Ethiopia is also the gateway to Africa, being the seat of the African Union. Ethiopia's contribution to Africa is also massive. So how United States is working with Ethiopia in terms of securing its interest in the continent?
That's a good question. So I think the approach of the Trump administration to working through and with our partners, particularly those partners that have great capacity. We have seen how this is reshaping our approach to Africa, and certainly the Horn of Africa. And I think you'll see more and more of that in the months and in years to come. Because of Ethiopia's importance, its size, its capacity, and its ability to grow in all of those domains, we look forward to working with Ethiopia as a key anchor country in terms of finding stability and promoting prosperity for all Africans. Yes, you mentioned Ethiopia is a gateway country, the home of the African Union. And in many ways, Ethiopia is serving in that capacity, that context right now. But we know that as Ethiopia's economy grows, its population grows in the coming decades, that its role as a leader in Africa will only grow. And we look forward to working with Ethiopia in that way.
Finally, let me hear your view regarding Ethiopia's quest for sea access. Apparently, Ethiopia is a country with a population of more than 120 million. And Ethiopia has been experiencing fast economic growth over the last few years. However, lack of access to the sea is hampering its economic growth and its development aspiration. And the government of Ethiopia, together with its people, is making serious of effort to secure sea access. So as a country that wants the prosperity and stability of Ethiopia, how the United States is supporting Ethiopia's effort, peaceful and diplomatic effort to secure sea access?
We understand your question, and I understand the context very well. Yes, I think the population is a little bit larger, so for a country of 120, 130 million people.
The largest landlocked country in the world.
Very well put.
Yeah.
For a country of that size, with its economy growing as quickly as it is, and with the projections growing as quickly as they are, expanding commercial maritime access is important. I've been to the port of Djibouti. I understand the investments being made by both Djibouti and Ethiopia to expand and improve the infrastructure that allows for import and export of goods. I know that Ethiopia has some other options. I think the port of Berbera is being used currently. But the overall objective to reduce infrastructure costs and to expand infrastructure capacity to serve the economy well today and tomorrow is something that we understand very, very well. Ethiopia wants to be among the global leaders in economy. And if that's going to be the case, ensuring that its infrastructure capability and the cost of infrastructure comes down is very important. And so that speaks to your question about maritime access. So expanding maritime access through commercial means, through peaceful and diplomatic contexts is something very important and something that the United States government and my embassy intends to support going forward. We understand this issue.
Ervin Massinga, United States Ambassador to Ethiopia, thank you very much for making time to conduct this interview, and I hope I will see you in another show. Thank you very much.
I look forward to it as well. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah. Well, that was my brief and insightful interview with United States Ambassador to Ethiopia. Hope you enjoyed the interview as much as I did. Many thanks for watching. Bye for now.